that CNN story on the news last night about that Orthodox Jew who got stabbed outside Jerusalem? He was just trying to get into the main entrance to the temple.
This aggression is really getting out of hand.
Is it really, though? It seems like continuing conflict between the Jews and Palestinians is pretty inevitable.
Well, there's been conflict since the beginning of time, but it really picked up after the end of World War II. We're talking about this in my Religion 102 class right now. As soon as the UN handed over Jerusalem to the Jews, violence just erupted.
I just don't understand why Jerusalem was handed over to the Jews in the first place. It only caused more conflict, especially since Jerusalem was a Muslim city for centuries.
But Jews do seem to have the most significant religious right to Jerusalem. Not only was our temple constructed in there, Jerusalem was the destiny of the Jews from the start of Genesis and Exodus.
That's undeniable, but look at it from a Muslim perspective. Jerusalem is one of the most holy sites to Muslims. Muhammad experienced his only miracle there when he traveled to the city from Mecca in just one night and ascended to heaven and had direct contact with God.
Aren't Mecca and Medina the only holy Islamic cities, though?
Actually, they are, and Jerusalem is their third holiest city. For the Jews, it's the most important city. In fact, Jerusalem is mentioned 656 times in the Old Testament. For example, in the Old Testament, it's even written, "Now they were standing in Jerusalem, devout Jews, drawn from every nation under heaven."
Actually, the Quran does mention Jerusalem, just not by name. It says, "Glory be to him who carried his servant by night from the holy mosque to the further mosque, the precincts of which we have blessed, that we might show him some of our signs." The further mosque is in Jerusalem. The Quran also says that God grants Jerusalem to the Muslims. "O my people, enter the holy land, which God has assigned unto you, and turn back not ignominiously, for then you will be overthrown to your own ruin."
But Jerusalem acts as the spiritual center to the Jewish religion. God tested Abraham in the city of Jerusalem, and he was saved and became able to receive the blessings and promises of God. It became the holy city when King Solomon carried out the wish of David to build the temple as the house for God. The Jews definitely have the right to the Holy Land.
Don't you think you're being a bit extreme? Is it really that important that only the Jews should be allowed to live there?
Extreme? I'm not extreme, especially in comparison to the Zionists. Zionism sees Jerusalem as a much more central aspect to Judaism. Zionists are very nationalistic in terms of Palestine. They believe the solution to the Jewish problem is to immigrate to a land that they can call their own. Zionists take pride in their religion rather than being thankful for it. They don't believe that the holy city belongs to Christians or Muslims at all because it's not considered their first or their holy city. And don't even get me started about Muslim extremists.
It's the same situation for me. Obviously, I'm not extremist. All they talk about is how they don't want to bargain over Palestine, and it shouldn't be an issue, but since it is an issue, they're willing to fight for it.
Both your religions have a point, but consider the Christian point of view. Christians hold the Holy Land as just a holy site because they have a harder time resonating with the land itself due to its highly Jewish and Roman geography. Churches were built along with monasteries, hospices, and basilicas in the 5th century, and Christians certainly traveled to Palestine to experience the places where Jesus walked, but even so, it isn't as important to them. Although it is meaningful, most Christians tend not to claim right to the land because the Arabs and Zionists feel so passionately about it.
How can we be so passive?
Yeah, you can't expect us to be so calm about it when our history of the city has been so different from yours. Your holy city was never taken away from you. It has been from Muslims. Even now, it's still happening. That one Jew might have been stabbed, but every day, Palestinians are discriminated against in Jerusalem, and their rights are taken away. One can understand why they're so angry.
Oh yeah, you're right. The other day I saw in the New York Times an article that said both Jews and Palestinians pay taxes, but some more than others. Palestinians receive a very small portion of the services relative to the amount of taxes they pay compared to the Jews. Almost no funding goes into Palestinian neighborhoods at all.
Clearly, I don't condone this type of discrimination, but I think it shows how prevalent this conflict still is today.
Honestly, I wish there was an easy religious solution to this. It doesn't seem like it will ever be solved.
Overall, Christians feel less passionately about Jerusalem as their holy place while Muslims and Jews feel more closely tied to it. Because Christians are not as closely involved with the issue, from a religious perspective, they have a less strong claim to the holy city.
In contrast, Jews seem to have the most significant religious right to Jerusalem. Not only was their original temple construction in Jerusalem, but Jerusalem was the destiny of Jews from the start of Genesis and Exodus.
However, Islam has a strong claim as well. Their most important prophet experienced a miracle in the city, and Muslims have controlled Jerusalem for centuries. The Muslim population is also much bigger than the Jewish population, so it may seem that Muslims have more of a right to the city.
Still, Jerusalem's centrality to Jews overpowers Islam's. Plus, the Quran never mentions Jerusalem by name.
When one considers politics along with religion in the issue of Jerusalem, the problem becomes much more complex and complicated. The conflict rose to international attention in 1936 when the Palestinians fought to liberate themselves from British control and stop the immigration of Jews to their land. The Brits crushed this 3-year rebellion by stopping all press, political parties, and organizations. Eventually, Jerusalem was handed over to the Jews by the United Nations, causing the conflict between the Palestinians and the Jews to escalate further and cause violence. When international intervention comes into play and the role of politics in Jerusalem, the issue becomes much too complex to resolve.
Our conclusion is this. The issue of religion in Jerusalem is too complicated and it has too many factors to decide which religion has the right to the holy city. From a religious standpoint, it may seem that Judaism is most deserving, but there is significant evidence against that as well as in favor of Islam, and when politics came into the picture, there's no way to determine who should get the right to Jerusalem.
This conclusion's greatest implication is that all religions need to recognize that they all have a place in Jerusalem and they need to find a way to coexist peacefully. After all, within the name Jerusalem is the Jewish word for peace, shalom.